morning and welcome to the family church. Good morning and welcome to the family church.
Hey, Billy, have you ever tried skydiving?
I jumped off a roof with an umbrella. Does that count?
No, and I'm not putting that on my bucket list.
Bucket list? What's that?
Grandpa is working on a bucket list, so I'm making one too. It's a list of all the things you want to do before you die.
Grandpa wants to go skydiving?
No, he wants to go to Alaska, and he wants to try sushi.
If I tried sushi, I'd need a bucket.
I'm thinking I'm gonna want to go skydiving.
That tower is really tall. We got some king-size sheets at home.
I'm thinking maybe when I get a little older and with a professional,
What else is on your list?
I want to earn a gold award in Girl Scouts and I want to go to Australia. How about you?
I want to be in the Guinness Book of World Records.
For what?
The longest burp. I can burp the preamble to the Constitution and halfway through the alphabet without stopping. Some guy in Italy can go longer. I have a ways to go.
Here, Young. Time is on your side.
And I'd like to see the inside of a volcano in a submarine that shoots lasers. And I'd like to solve more of the universe's biggest mysteries, like which came first, the chicken or the egg? Or if you drove at the speed of light with your headlights on, would anything happen? And how much deeper would the oceans be if sponges didn't live there?
Good luck with all those things.
I would have thought your things would all be about doing good and stopping bad things from happening.
I was thinking about curing a disease, but that seems really hard. I'm not sure I'm good enough at science to take those classes in college.
Well, you have a long time to figure it out. You're not old like Grandpa.
True. I wish I had some kind of thing I could do to help people.
You're really good at helping me. You're like my example of how to be a good person.
Really?
Yeah. You always seem to know the right choice. My dad says you're a good influence on me because you're a person of good character.
Oh, that's really nice. Grandpa just says you're a character.
I'll have to thank him the next time I see him.
But how do I put that on my list?
Just say you'll be a good example for other people. You've definitely helped me out of trouble a few times, too.
I feel like I still need something else on my list.
How about a huge prank? Like a prank on the whole town.
That sounds more like something you'd come up with and something you get in a lot of trouble for.
Right. So I don't need to have it on my bucket list because it's something I've already done. But you should try new things, like Grandpa trying sushi.
Okay, I'll just put down skydiving.
That's something for when you're an adult. What about something you can do this summer? So in the fall, when the teacher asks, "Hey everybody, what did you do this summer?" You'll have something to say other than, "I went to camp and did crafts all summer."
Okay, I'll ride my bike over one of your jumps.
Really? Okay, I'll teach you how to jump. And by the end of the summer, we are both going to jump over the Nina Slough.
What if we don't make it?
That's half the fun. I've never made it all the way over, but the bottom is mucky and soft. So as long as you don't land on one of my old bikes, it doesn't hurt. And there's the challenge. Maybe this time we will finally make it over.
Okay, deal. But you have to add something to your bucket list that I like to do.
Like what? Do some crafts?
You have to come help me serve a meal at Pillar Shelter in July.
Deal. I was gonna do it anyway. Last time you baked cookies and I didn't get any.
It'll be fun.
And it'll be a good break from all our bike jumping practice. This is going to be a summer to remember.
So we have a family question today. So either with your own family or the people nearby you, talk about what's on your bucket list. Reading is from 1 Kings chapter 2 verses 1 through 4. When David's time to die approached, he charged his son Solomon, saying, I'm about to go the way of all the earth, but you be strong, show what you're made of. Do what God tells you. Walk in the paths he shows you. Follow the life map absolutely. Keep an eye out for the signposts. His course for life set out in the revelation to Moses. Then you'll get on well in whatever you do and wherever you go. Then God will confirm what he promised me when he said, if your sons watch their step, staying true to me, heart and soul, you'll always have a successor on Israel's throne.
It's time for the Indianapolis 500. I know some of you have attended it. There have been some exciting races over the years. I did a little reading about it because it's the big weekend. Like all sports, there have been some big deal moments. The first time a car hit 200 miles an hour. The first woman to enter the race, Danica Patrick, placing fourth. One of the coolest stories, though, happened way back in 1912. There are 200 laps in the race. That hasn't changed. Ralph De Palma led for 198 of the laps. He dashed out for a lead in the very first lap and held it for the whole race. It wasn't even a close race. As it neared its end, he was 8 laps ahead of the second place car. One of the biggest leads in the history of the race. He broke the average speed record that day, and it was a record that held up for 7 years. Everything was going great until his car broke down. It stopped with less than a mile to go, over halfway through the final lap. Back then, you didn't have a pit crew. You had a mechanic who rode along in the car with you. The two of them jumped out and pushed the car over a mile to the finish line. Another guy passed them and won. And they actually didn't even get second place because they were disqualified for pushing the car. But they got a standing ovation from the crowd. The story was in every newspaper in America, and it is the reason why the Indy 500 became a big deal, instead of just another race on the circuit. Now it is the most attended and celebrated and watched car race in the country each year. This weekend's Memorial Day, and it's not actually a day for camping, grilling out, fishing, or watching auto racing, though most of us will do at least one of those things. It's about remembering people who have crossed the finish line of life. It started as a time to remember the over 600,000 people who were killed in the Civil War. It's a time to remember those who died serving our country, and many of us also remember other people we've lost. In today's scripture, King David is dying, one of the central figures of the Bible. His son Solomon will take his place as king, and David is giving him some instructions. First, he tells him to be strong. Then he tells him to follow God and encourage everyone to follow God. Now, David wasn't perfect, but most of the kings had chased money and power and just talked about God enough to get the believers to follow him. to think that he cared about God. Being strong and leading people from a place of strength is difficult. Some leaders have tried to have strength by seeming angry, by bossing people around, by persecuting people, by starting wars. Some just boast about their accomplishments and throw around their power. Having true strength requires character, integrity, believing in a better future. It requires the ability to admit mistakes and deal with people honestly. Those are really hard things. They're harder than pushing a car for over a mile. But having character, integrity, and a positive belief for the future, as well as the ability to admit mistakes, that's what we need in this world. Many of the people our world has lost to war died before they could grow in character or before they could understand integrity. Many were terrified, disillusioned by the sight of the war around them. Their lives were cut far too short. Ralph De Palma's racing days weren't over when his car broke down. He kept on racing. He held the record for the most times racing in the Indy 500 for many years. Just 3 years after that near win when his car broke down, he had another car failure, once again right at the end of the race. He was in the lead with 2 laps to go. A connecting rod broke loose and punched right through the crankcase. At that point, he and the second place guy were coasting to the finish line way ahead of everyone else. The guy in second didn't want to push his car too hard for fear of breaking down and not getting the second place finish. So he slowed down with De Palma. He figured, De Palma knows we've got first and second locked up, and he wants to guarantee this finish. So he's going to slow down to save his car. He didn't realize that the car was severely damaged. He just slowed down with him, not knowing that he could have passed him easily for the win. That was De Palma's only time winning the Indy 500, but it helped seal his legacy. When King David died, Solomon became king, and they had quite a legacy. The two of them went down in history as Israel's 2 best kings. They did so much right. They tried hard to follow God, to be people of character and integrity, always striving for better. They did make some big mistakes. They admitted their mistakes and learned from them. One of David's descendants was Jesus, the Messiah. That's quite a legacy. All of us will cross the finish line at some point. Some of us will know that it's time, like David did. Others will be surprised. I doubt any of us will leave a legacy of biblical proportions. I don't even know that any of us will leave behind a sports record or a big story in the news like De Palma. But we can all leave a legacy of how we live our lives. We can live a life of character and integrity. We can admit our mistakes and learn from them. And we can have a positive outlook, always believing that we can be a small part of God's work in the world and that God is striving to make our world better. When I remember the people who have been important to me this Memorial Day, a great uncle, a very kind man who was permanently disabled in World War II, my grandparents, my father, my fishing partner, and my best friend. I'm not sad. Well, not most of the time anyway. I think of how they influenced me and how I want to be like them. Their legacy of strength, character, and integrity lives on. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. I want to thank you for worshiping with us today. We appreciate this opportunity to be in your home with you. I want to mention a couple opportunities. One is that it's time to register for summer camp. The United Methodist camps here in Wisconsin have some great opportunities, both for kids in grades 2 all the way up to 12, and also for whole families or for a grandparent and grandchild. There's a robotics and STEM camp, a camp where you stay in tree houses the whole week. Lots of options, and you can see more about that at wiumcamps.org or contact us for more information. Also, we need a volunteer to haul away some brush. We had a great work day last week and got a lot done. If you'd like to help us on our next work day later this summer, we've got some more projects, a little carpentry, some siding. We'll have some other things to work on, so let me know if you'd like to help. And finally, we're collecting cash. Our special offering we're taking is for a scholarship to help LGBTQ people into transitional housing with the COTS program here in our area. Sometimes as they enter that program, it's kind of between emergency homeless situations and when somebody is fully in their own home. That's a transitional housing program. And sometimes people struggle to save up enough for the security deposit and first month's rent. So we're going to be sponsoring that. If you'd like to make a donation, you can just send us a check and mark it COTS Fund, or you can use the link. There'll be a QR code at the end, and that will take you to our giving page, and you can make a gift and just put a memo on there and say what it's for. Thanks again for worshiping with us. If you enjoyed today's worship video, I invite you to click like and consider sharing it to your page if there are others that you think would benefit, or share it in a private Facebook message to someone who you think could use today's message. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. I will seek you in the morning. I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, and I will follow you all of my days. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. Oh God, you are my God, and I will ever praise you. I will seek you in the morning, and I will learn to walk in your ways, and step by step you'll lead me, and I will follow you all of my days. I will follow you all of my days. I will follow you all of my days. And step by step